Now, while traders expect money market rates to continue to trend higher over the next few months on the back of political risks associated with the 2019 elections, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, says new documents provided by MTN may influence the reduction in the amount of capital it will ask the telecoms firm to repatriate. Uche Ugboh, head of Asset and Liability Management at Diamond Bank, joins us now to discuss Nigeria's fixed income and FX markets. Thanks so much, Uche, for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's start with that story and your thoughts about how things are evolving with this MTN saga. There is a sense that maybe this was a strategy all along. Come hard and then have a conversation, and then we'll see how MTN can repatriate something that is reasonable. What do you think?
I think it's a good move, if you ask me. In the first place, there was so much noise around what really happened, what did we expect, why those banks, and this is probably the first time in a while that I had international banks really caught up in this, right? And MTN is a major player in the telecoms market in Nigeria. And let's not forget, they just came off of the NCC fine some 2-3 years down the line. So I think it makes a lot of sense to have them provide documents. And let's look at what's going to happen. The important thing for me is that the CBN has signaled this is not political, this is not against MTN. We don't have a problem with internationals. We don't have a problem with international corporations in Nigeria. But it's important that you could hear MTN, because MTN blatantly said, we are not wrong. So it's good to come to equity clean hands in real terms. Let's see the documents, and then we can review it and take a more pragmatic look. Because, again, there was a comment that the CBN governor made, which I think I found interesting. My examiners are in touch with the banks and MTN, and they will look at the documents, then it will come up to me. So it signals he's open to, let's see the facts. Perhaps we missed something that we didn't miss, and we're going to look at it and try to tidy it up. I think it will help to restore some level of confidence and make this look a lot more around the business and not the politics or the rhetorics around maybe we are trying to get some things out of the sector.
Now, at this point, observers are keen on establishing whether or not this would set a precedence for industry regulations for the CBN, but the CBN governor is quick to come out to say, no, this is a one-off.
I probably, again, and it was good he quickly made that comment, because don't forget, around the sidelines, you've had people say, you can't pick out MTN 3 years ago was MTN, and then now we're coming 3 years down the line is MTN. And look at the timing. The last time it happened was just when there was a change of guard, right? We had a moment in 2015 when there was a change of presidency. Now we're at a time close to election and you have this fine. So that timing just seems like something is fundamentally wrong. So it's important that the CBN tries to push back to say, this has got nothing to do with we're against multinationals and all of that, but we want to look at the facts on the table and at least give you the impression that we are willing to review whatever position we have taken before now.
All right, let's quickly look at the markets. And very significant last week what we saw the central bank do in terms of its OMO auction, very aggressive in mopping up all that excess liquidity. Is that a strategy that I think traders need to pay attention to, that the central bank could simply just do things that could radically impact liquidity in just one auction? What's your perspective on that?
I don't think it's radical. Now, the fact is, CBN has said we want to maintain the tightening stance, right? Yeah. I think the PMA...
But it comes at a huge cost.
Yeah, well, I agree, but I think the PMA just set the tone. See, I've said it over and over. CBN really has the yam and the knife, if you permit me to use that phrase. I don't come into the market, I don't sell anymore. What typically happens? Everybody just goes down to buy T-bills around the maturities that they have, right? So the PMA came down because of liquidity. And don't forget, we're coming from 700, 800 billion in the system, right? And then you had the PMA suck up some of about 190 something or thereabout, right? But the rates came lower. And I think that was the interesting thing, because MPC came out and said we're going to tighten. You had a number of people in the MPC say we'll probably look to increase CRR. So when the CBN comes back to say we're going to sweep up, it was a good kill for them. PMA won 13.3, and then you have 13.5 OMO for the same 1 year maturity. It was a good business for them.
Massive sellouts you hinted earlier.
And then banks were willing to lock in at those levels. You need to look at the subscription around the 1 year. It gives you a sense of where we expect rates to be. And this whole noise around election, this and that, will probably moderate.
We'll wait to see how those pan out. Uche, thank you very much for your time on the show this morning. Uche Ugboh is Head of Assets and Liquidity Management at Diamond Bank.